A lot of stuff up here. I tackled on this project in part to give something to my daughter, Natalie, who had a great time all day long and made it to about 8:30 or so and had crashed. So Teresa, my wife, took her back to the cabin. They are resting comfortably. But we're being videotaped here, so she'll see Daddy's speech later. My wife, Teresa, is the great-granddaughter of James E. Squire Youngblood, Eddie Lee's father. Like I said, I took on this project in part to give something to my daughter. I've been doing my own family history, researching back to around the turn of the century. That's as far as we go to Ellis Island, and then before that in Sicily somewhere. But doing this research, I found on Teresa's side of the family, there's a lot more available than I thought there would be. I'm also a historian by training. I'm a history professor, so I was curious if more could be found than what the family had already using quote-unquote modern sources, new technology and things like that available. I wanted to see if I could produce some more answers than the family had already. Basically, what the family knew about the background of James E. Youngblood from the family oral history, and especially as compiled by Lenora over there. There's a copy in the lobby there of how she brought together what the family basically knew, and some speculation on clues, hints that they might have, but nothing real definite beyond that. But anyway, we knew, I knew starting out that he came from the Polk County, San Jacinto County area, that he was born in either 1868 or 1869, and that he was known as Squire. And that he left Polk County at a young age, and that he was raised by a white family named the Yarboroughs in the Mejia area. We knew that. And that he purchased the farm and then raised his family in the area. A very prosperous farm. Raised two families, in fact. His first wife died, and then he raised another family with his second wife. 15 kids in all, one of which is here tonight, Eddie Lee. Lenora found also an adult mulatto man named James Youngblood, his wife Eliza, and children living in Polk County in the 1870 Polk County census. But they had no idea if they were related to Squire at all, just similarities in name, James Youngblood, and again, the Polk County connection. So that's what we had to go on there. So I first, as many people do, went to the internet to see what could possibly be available there. On Ancestry.com, I found the mulatto James Youngblood and his family, this time in San Jacinto County. They didn't move. The western part of Polk County became San Jacinto County in 1875. And so they didn't move, but the county lines did. But there they were in that census, listed there. But a child that was listed as Ennis Youngblood in the 1870 census was not there listed with the family in the 1880 census. So I started to wonder right there, is could that be Squire? And where was he? All right. And then I also looked online and found Patrick King's extensive postings on Ancestry.com. Just an absolute blessing. Photographs, family trees, and other vital information, including was a photo of the elder James Youngblood and his wife Eliza. We visited their graves today. And I remember talking to Teresa the first time I looked at it on my computer screen, and I looked at James Youngblood, and I said, he's got two of your brother's eyes. He's got Teddy's eyes, he's got your brother Michael's eyes. It stood out right away. Doesn't prove anything, you know, but it just caught my attention right away. Might be definitely onto something here. And I also found out from... I also found out from the information that Patrick had posted that this James Youngblood, James Thomas Youngblood, was the son of the planter, Thomas B. Youngblood. So I tried to make contact with Patrick, but I didn't hear back from him for a while. He had not been on the website for a while after posting this stuff. So I hoped he would email me. And in the meantime, I continued my research. And then in the 1880 census, the same census, in the 1880 census, I found a white Yarborough family living outside of Waxahachie, just to the south of Dallas. And there, you had a Methodist minister named Solomon Yarborough, a white Methodist minister, his son Reuben Yarborough, and their families. And there was listed there with the family an 11-year-old mulatto boy who was listed as a hireling, quote unquote, under the name Squire Watson. Not Squire Youngblood, but Squire Watson. So, you know, the name Squire, the age lined up. How many black children named Squire would happen to be living with a white family named Yarborough in Texas at that time? So I had a feeling that this was Squire Youngblood. Just didn't know where the name Watson came from yet. I finally made contact with Patrick when I found out through Teresa's brother that David and he had known each other for 20 years. I talked to David on the phone once. I said, yeah, I'm plugging along with this genealogical research, but there's this guy, Patrick King. He's got all this stuff, you know, and you know, if I could just make contact with him. And he says, I know Patrick. I've known Patrick for a long time. We went to school together. And things started falling to place quite a bit right there. From the phone calls and the emails that followed, we were able to start making some solid connections. If you look in the Youngblood family Bible that he had, it shows that the elder James Youngblood, who we saw a picture of just there with Eliza, they had a son named James Ennis Youngblood, born in 1869. And I also found out that a James Watson had inherited many of the Patten and Youngblood slaves via his marriage to a daughter of the planter, Thomas Youngblood. So that's where the Watson name looked to be from. So that was good. That was, you know, on the right track, most definitely. I wanted to throw a Hail Mary pass, as they say, and see if I could get. I was so lucky up to this point. Divine forces are converging here. You know, I'm going to see if I can push my luck like a gambler on a hot streak almost. You know, and see. And so I decided to play the DNA card and see if it would produce anything. What I did was I asked one of Teresa's brothers to give me some of his warm spit. you can either from blood or from saliva nowadays. You can get DNA information. It has to be from a male member of the family though, because they need to look at the Y chromosomes, which the boys have. And so Michael owed me a favor, so he agreed to do this for me, and I sent it in and got the information back. But then I wanted to see if it matched anybody. What else came of it. And the results showed that the DNA matched several white Youngbloods, descendants of white Youngbloods going way back, who had submitted their DNA samples, seeing who they would match up with. And so I got very lucky there. And it proved that Squire not only inherited the Youngblood family name, as many former slaves did after emancipation, but also their genes. He had the Youngblood family genes in there. And so this reinforced the idea that Squire was James Thomas Youngblood's child, James Ennis Youngblood, since we knew that James Thomas Youngblood was the son of the planter Thomas Youngblood. And then finally, I went to the Sam Houston Regional Library here in Liberty to skim over some local county records, not looking for anything particular, just trying to dot the I's and cross the T's and all that, seeing if I could shake the tree some more and see if anything would fall out. And I got lucky again. When near the end of the day, just I had one microfilm reel left to look at. Do I want to do that? I found some interesting things here, but nothing, breathtaking. And finally I said, all right, I'm going to put the last reel in and look and see if I find anything. And when I looked at it, one of the last things on the microfilm reel there turned out to be a listing of marriages in Polk County. And in there, clear as day, it showed that Betty Watson, a daughter of planter James Watson, who had inherited many of the Youngblood slaves, had married Reuben Yarbrough, the son of the Methodist minister, who was with the Squire Watson outside of Waxahachie. Thus, there was no doubt that Squire Watson was Squire Youngblood. So, to sum it all up, while we don't have an understanding of the exact circumstances, what seems clear is that at a very young age, probably 5 or 6 years old, Squire left his family or was taken away. We just don't know the situation yet. But that he lived with the Yarbroughs, first in Waxahachie, with Reuben Yarbrough and Betty Watson and the minister Yarbrough's family. Then Squire moved to the Mahia area with the younger Yarbrough, with Reuben Yarbrough and his family. And then after that, Squire later purchased his farm in the Mahia area, which the family still owns to this day, 100 years later. So there's still much to explore here, but that's basically the basics of what we have so far. I wrote a short biographical article on Squire Youngblood's life. Basically, you heard the first half of that story. The other half of the story is just talking about his life as a farm owner in the Mahia area and how he's able to raise the crops, tend to the animals with the help of the family, and how they were able to keep the farm over all those years. It's going to be published in the spring. The University of Florida Press is publishing a collection of essays on black farm owners in the South after the Civil War. And so Squire Youngblood is going to be like the very first, after the introduction, this is going to be the first essay in those collection of essays.